Gohan fans, you don't want to miss out on this. To commemorate Gohan's victory over Cell Max, check out the brand new Special Beast Canon merchandise line available right now in the Geekdom 101 store in multiple sizes and colors. You don't want to wait. This one is limited edition for the most hardcore Gohan fans out there. Check it out. I'll leave a link down below so you can get your piece of history. Gohan doing the Special Beast Canon. There are very few things that have been more hyped than Budokai Tenkaichi 4, the upcoming new Tenkaichi game, the new sparking game, coming out very, very soon. And on this edition of Talk Dragon Ball, we're going to give our wish list, our Budokai Tenkaichi 4 new Tenkaichi wish list, and tell you the things that we want to see in this new game. And please feel free to leave a comment down below and give us your wish list. Kindly number them 1, 2, 3 or whatever by whatever order you want, because I'm curious about what the fandom wants, and maybe I can submit them to Bandai. I don't know if they'll actually listen because the game's already in production, but I might be able to actually get it to somebody. So definitely leave a comment. Cool. I'll try, man. I'll try. So, because I know someone there, but we'll talk about that another time. So, joining me over here, we have Star Blast Studios. Say hello, Heesh.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Happy to be here.
Yeah.
What was my presence too much for you?
It was a lot, bro. It's 1:20 in the morning right now on the East Coast. And then over here we have Jordan.
What's up, guys?
So, basically, we're all going to pick 3 things that we want to see in Tenkaichi 4. And I'm already going to tell you that Jordan's list is going to be the Monkey King, Wukong, and Buddha. And those will probably not be in the game. So just letting you know now, bro, change your picks. But I'm going to go first, all right? Then I'm going to go to Heesh. We'll basically we'll go in a circle here and give our 3 things for a total of 9. So it's 9 things we're going to see, or we want to see, in Tenkaichi 4. So my first one is online versus battles, tag battles, and tournament play. That's the one thing that Tenkaichi 3 did not have. Now, it was a PS2 game, and back in the day, the PS2 didn't get online capabilities until I think later on in the cycle, and that game didn't have online mode. But now, in this generation, the PS5 era, the modern era, everyone plays games online. So why would they put a game out now that's a fighting game and have it not have some kind of 1v1, 2v2, or 5v5, or like the Tournament of Power mode, or Universe 6, Universe 7 tournament 5 and 5? Like, why would they not do that? So I think the game will definitely have an online mode, but I want it to be not just an online mode. I want to be able to do different kinds of fights, not just 1v1. I like the idea of like you and a friend teaming up in this boss rush, or tag battles, even the TOP, like a big battle royal. You might not be able to fit 100 characters that are playable, but if it's like 8 humans and then like the rest are computers, that could be cool. That could be a lot of fun, man. So, what do y'all think about that?
Well, funny thing is that you're actually half right about the like Budokai Tenkaichi 3 not having the online.
The Wii one doesn't.
That is actually
the Wii
one has an online mode. I remember
I
played this when I was younger, and the guy just kept on spamming this. I was fighting against this one guy, like the server was like super duper laggy, and this guy just kept on spamming like, Goku's Spirit Bomb, the one that goes through one transformation, Super Saiyan 1, 2, and 3. He just kept on spamming that, and it was like with the lag on top of it, it was so annoying. He'd just throw it, run away, charge his energy. It was so spammy, but like it was just how servers were back in the day. Anyways, yeah, go ahead.
No, you're right. The Wii version had it, but now the internet speeds are so much better that we could actually have fluid gameplay. So, what is your first of 3 things you want to see on your wish list for Xenoverse, or Tenkaichi 4, not Xenoverse, Tenkaichi 4?
Tenkaichi 4. Well, it's funny you mentioned Xenoverse anyway, because it's something similar that's in Xenoverse that I want. So, but I mean on a bigger scale. I want more complex character customization. And what I mean by that is that one of the features in Xenoverse was that when you had one of the characters as your master, you can change the colors on their gi and such. So like Goku, for whatever reason, you can make it to where his gi is like all green and such like that. But I want it to be more complex in that you're also able to change around just how the transformations are for specific characters. Like, say for example, if you are running Gohan, I'd like just for shits and giggles, I would like to just make it to where you have Super Saiyan God Gohan in the game, or Super Saiyan Blue, or all these like different variations of Saiyan transformations you can have with already existing characters. I feel like, you know, like like custom characters and such like that would be, you know, its own type of thing. Like I know that, you know, I know that's, you know, something more that, you know, for Xenoverse, but like actually being able to modify the existing characters in unique and complex ways, I think would add in a lot more layers to the overall game.
I want to be able to change their names though, so I can rename fucking Champa fucking Jiznak the Gusher, which is what I've always wanted to do. So if I
I'll rename Beerus into Bills.
no, please don't.
It would
If
be
it
cool
if it
they
lets me
if
rename
they
Hercule to Satan, I'll be okay with it. Go ahead, bro.
Okay.
it'd be cool if they implemented a system like they used to have in like Tekken and Virtua Fighter and stuff like that, where you could actually unlock more customizable stuff for your character by winning outfits or by winning matches.
I
Because if
see.
you remember, like in those games, like you could unlock stuff to wear that proved that you
Right.
were high up in the boards online, and that would be really fun to see implemented into Tenkaichi because I'm sure it's going to be a very competitive game, and I definitely going back to what you said earlier, Danny, I definitely think it's going to be an online game because I can just imagine how ridiculously fun that would be to be able to play online with your friends.
Yeah,
But
for sure.
but I do agree with Heesh that like it would be really cool to be able to customize the actual cast, and having what if transformations would also be really cool. But I really do think it would be cool if they had a similar system to some of those old fighting games where if you are pretty high up in the leaderboards, you have like certain equipments and stuff that you can wear in order to essentially like a trophy to basically communicate to everybody, hey, I got this far up in the leaderboard.
And
That
in,
would be
and in
really
those
cool.
games, you can really customize it. Like when you play online against those guys, some of the characters aren't even recognizable.
Yep.
It's wild. So
Yep.
what's your first choice there on your wish list?
My first choice is the what if scenarios that they used to do in the games where, like, for example, like Vegeta turning Super Saiyan on Namek and stuff like that. Like, I would like to see like a new era of those what if scenarios that they used to have in the old games. I'm really hoping that they play on some of the new content that we have and give us some like what if, and that kind of goes hand in hand with what Heesh wants, because that's another opportunity for them to give us the characters having different transformations than they normally do if we get to play out these what if scenarios. Like, for example, let's just say instead of in Battle of Gods, they give Goku all of the energy to become Super Saiyan God. They just chose to do it for Gohan. You know what I mean? Like stuff like that, like weird what if scenarios that you wouldn't really normally see. I would really like to see them played out in detail in the Tenkaichi Budokai 4 game.
I mean
That'd be cool.
that's the potential for literally thousands of what if stories. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
thousands they could do. If you remember, there's a game that came out on PSP, Shin Budokai Another Road, that did a whole game was a what if, and it was enjoyable.
Mm-hmm.
I actually liked that.
Mm-hmm.
People who are in the fandom who are obsessed over canon, I just don't have time for that. They might not like that, but I loved how they took different timelines, and I love that stuff. So my second wish list option or whatever is I want giant raid bosses. I want to do a thing where you can get with your friends or with the computer or whatever and fight against great apes, Ani Raza, Hachiak, Piccolo, Orange Piccolo, like Giant Piccolo, Orange Piccolo,
Mm-hmm.
Cell Max. Now that superhero has brought back giant characters after a long time of us not seeing it. I mean, Ani Raza was one, but there's more. They can do Giant Ribrianne. Everyone loves Ribrianne, right? No,
No, no.
no. Yeah, you could beat her in the game.
They might love beating up on her.
That and I
Yeah,
think
that would be great.
I think people will, bro. Maybe I'll do a video like 10 hours of beating up on Rip Brienne. Watch it do like millions of views, bro. But no, I want that, bro. I want like GT, like Super Baby Vegeta to be an enemy you can team up against. Like that, I think would make the game refreshing, not just because it was not just regular like hand-to-hand combat. I like the idea of having like a giant boss that we have to work together to beat. So I like that.
Yeah, just like in Xenoverse 2, like I know that, you know, already from the get-go, we were already that would be interesting too, because if they're going to be doing something like that, they'd likely have to limit it to where you can't actually run giant characters to fight off against these other giant characters, because because it would stimulate like a, I don't know if, do you think that would actually be good in an online lobby if your character was also giant? So say for example you're throwing Ani Raza in at like with against the raid boss, which is you know, Super Baby Vegeta. I know that would be like crazy, But
No,
for
dude,
like
Cell Max versus Orange Piccolo.
there we go.
That
Well,
happened.
that's part of the
Yeah.
story. But I'm talking about in terms of like having an online lobby where everyone's going after this one exact raid boss, like maybe like how it is for Xenoverse, for
Right.
example.
Yeah, I don't think you should be able to play as them if you're going after the raid boss. That should be like a
Yeah.
challenge. Like if you win it, you unlock something. That's my guess. You shouldn't. I don't think it's fair, but it would still be kind of wacky if you could do that. Actually, if you could do like Orange Piccolo versus Hachiak,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would be cool.
that'd be
Hachiak would be
wild.
great
Yeah.
if he was in this game.
What's your number two?
So my number two pick in would be that I want these games. I want the graphics and the surrounding areas to be far more destructive. I feel like that's something that they that should be absolutely done more often in a bunch of Dragon Ball games, and we don't really get that with a lot of Dragon Ball games that follow in the the 3D settings very often. Well, most of the games are 3D, but not like Fighters is like within like a different thing. But we see more destruction in Fighters than we do in Tenkaichi 3. Dragon Ball fights in general are far more chaotic, and I feel like it's just super fun where you see like the effects happening like with the surroundings and such. So say for example you're playing as Janemba, like just like how when he was doing like those sword slash attacks against Super Saiyan 3 Goku in the movie,
With the Jello?
like yeah, like I don't know what you call those jelly bean marble thingy-majigs that
It's
were
well,
flying
it's
like floating all
blood.
over hell.
It's blood, but it's the jelly. Oh, even the sword with the sword. That's the blood. Yeah, the jelly beans.
Yeah,
Right.
I would like to see like, or maybe if you're fighting him in like, if you're using Janemba in like a city surrounding area, I would like to see buildings get like sliced in half. And this is very much possible because a lot of more recent games are using Unreal Engine 5, and these new game engines have added in so much more game mechanics, and we've seen this in such with games like Fortnite and games like all these and many different games
Yeah.
and such. So there's a lot of like there's a lot cooler mechanics that are available right there to really help add into those effects of Dragon Ball fights, which would really add into the life of the game.
I mean, it'd be cool if you could start like up. You start at like the Kami area, like the sacred temple or whatever, where Kami's at, and then you could like with Boo and Gotenks, you could destroy it like with just, and then you
Yes!
go down to the earth. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, or the most obvious one is the Tournament of Power stage because that does get destroyed.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my God,
and
that'd be
I
really
also
cool.
like the idea, bro, of doing the TOP in the game with a timer in the upper right, and you have to eliminate everybody before the time runs out, like in the real TOP. Except the timer's obviously going to be, you have to mess with it. It wouldn't be exact time because Dragon Ball time never is exact time. Or you fight Frieza on Namek, and the planet's kind of becoming more and more volcanic, and then little by little, that stuff like that would be great with the actual levels and whatnot. That would be awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
That would be sick. And just another cool detail, if they were to do that with the Tournament of Power, I'd like to see like all of like the different sky background change. Like, because at the beginning of the tournament,
Yes,
it was a
yes.
black sky, then a green sky, then like a purple colorish type of sky.
Yeah, the World of Void kept changing. And I always thought that was a nice touch. Jordan, what's your number two?
My number two, and this is going to be controversial because not everybody wants character creations in every Dragon Ball game, but I would just like to have a really cool character creation mode in the game. Now, what I'm thinking here is that I would really like something similar to what they put in the latest Street Fighter game, where it's not necessarily where you can just pick whether you do Kamehameha or Gallic Gun or a lot of these like special techniques. I would like it if you could actually pick the set of moves and the combos that you use specifically. Like each set move is a move that you set. Like every punch, every kick, everything is just like completely customizable to where you can make like your own fighting style. I think that would be
That's
ridiculously cool.
dope. There are games that have done that, but I don't know of any Dragon Ball game where you can actually customize every move.
Yeah, I just think it would be cool if you could just like set what your base punch was, your base kick. You can set up your combos. You can set up your special moves. Now, this is something they kind of do in Xenoverse with the special moves, but I just
Right.
think it would be really cool if you could also set like your base moves, like your regular punches. Now, in the case of Xenoverse, that stuff is normally dominated by your race, but I just think it would be cool if you could unlock attacks very similar to Virtual Fighter and stuff like that.
Yep.
Uh, where you can unlock and progress like your ability to use different moves and attacks as the game progresses, because Tenkaichi Budokai 4 has the potential to do something like that way more in comparison to like other Dragon Ball games, just
Right.
based on how the gameplay works.
Yeah, and it's also a
So,
game where online mode you could have tournaments where custom characters are banned, and then some where they're allowed. In which case, then it
yeah.
changes the whole like strategy. And I think if you have a created character and you're playing online, it's gonna create more of a connection with that character and you, because it's almost like your avatar. I know a lot of folks do
Hmm.
that. I did it in Xenoverse too. I mean, I have, we all played it for a little bit. And that's, yeah, that works. The only thing is, it would be, someone's gonna figure out ways to crack it to be super cheap. Like they're gonna come up with
Oh
combos
yeah.
that are so cheap, you're just gonna be like, dude, come on. Like that's the only con of that, you know?
Yeah, that is the only yeah, you're right, there is danger in that, but I still think it would be super cool. I would just like to see that because I just think it would make the fighting in the game more fresh and less stiff and, like not that the games themselves aren't good, like, the way that the combat is handled, it's just it'd be really cool to see a fluid combo that you, like, completely set up yourself. I just think that would be cool.
I agree, if done
I
right.
can see that. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So now we're going to go to our last one. Remember, leave a comment down below with your wish list number for me. I want to look at those. This is the last one right now. And by the way, what I said earlier about giving it to Bandai, I am going to legitimately talk to somebody in Bandai about this, but you might not get it in Tenkaichi 4, but maybe for the next Tenkaichi, because I'm sure this one's going to make a ton of money. I mean, based on the hype, everyone's getting this game. So I think it might be worth some feedback from the fandom. My last one is more of a personal thing that I want to see. It's a personal thing as a fan of Dragon Ball. Some of y'all might not agree with me, but I'm just going to say it. Make all the Shadow Dragons playable.
Yes.
They always give us the same three. The fire one, the ice one, and Omega. Fuck. Please make them all playable. I want to play as the freaking Ice Queen. I want to play as the ugly Badger. I want to play as the green fat one. Like, obviously they all have names, but I always refer to them by what they look like because I forget the numbers in my head and I forget their names because, like, I'm not like I know the characters, but their names are different in the Japanese and in the English, so they don't have like one name, so it gets kind of messy. But I would love it if you could actually play with all of them. And hell, even though the black smoke dragon is not playable, if he has even one cameo in the game, the coolest dragon ever. It's a dragon that smokes a cigar. You're not gonna get that anywhere else but Toriyama's art. So that's what I want. Make them all playable, even if they suck. Just having them there is enough for me.
Yeah, the potential for GT Super crossover stuff is really cool to think
Yes,
about.
yes, I
And
agree with that. Heesh, go for it.
Okay, so one thing I would definitely like them to do, and I like when it came to Budokai Tenkaichi 3, like I did really like the story mode and such. It was very quick, fast paced and very simple, but I I would have really liked for them more. And that's my pick for number 3 is that I want them to refine, the overall story mode. I want them to make more details, like refine it, make it like give us more stuff that happens in the story. Like one example when it comes to the story mode. Now, this is not a very fun, this is not a very fan favorite game. It's Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Tenkaichi. They very questionable game mechanics, sure, but the way that they told the story mode in there, just like they went into a lot of details that I've never really seen other Dragon Ball games do. Like, say for example, the when Frieza realized that the Earthlings and such had defeated the Ginyu Force and got the Dragon Balls. You played as Frieza as you were just rushing through Namek to get on over and try in an attempt to stop in a futile attempt to stop them from using the Namekian Dragon Balls. Obviously, that's just the fact that details like that is in a game. I think that just shows that the amount that they could really add into the overall story and what they tell can absolutely be more refined. There could be more details. Now, obviously, if they're going to be making this game, they're going to be telling Dragon Ball Super and Dragon Ball.
Okay, sorry about that. Technical difficulties. Heesh, you were saying.
So, obviously, I know that they're going to be telling the story of Dragon Ball Super and maybe Dragon Ball GT and all these other things throughout the games, but just those so adding in those extra details might be a bit much for them. But I would still really like for them to just maybe just expand on just a little bit more of the details and such, and not be so skippy throughout the story.
I do wonder what the story mode's going to be because you're going to tell they're probably not going to do all of Dragon Ball. That's a pipe dream, but Dragon Ball Z they're gonna do, which is already very long. They're gonna do some of GT, I would assume, and Super. And even though Super and GT aren't as long as Z, think about it. If you're getting all of Z and GT and Super, that's a lot of story mode. And obviously, it would be cool if, like, when you beat the Z mode, you get to pick which branch you want to go to, GT or Super. Eventually, you can do both. But I do like that, but I do wonder if they're going to take away the GT mode and just do the Super mode and just have the characters playable. That is something that I have not, like, I do not know what they're doing with that. That's one of the bigger questions, I think, going into this game. We don't even know if GT characters are even confirmed. I would assume they will be in it because the last game had some, but there's no telling. So Jordan, what's your last one?
Well, my last one was about whether or not the controls are going to be the same, because I am very concerned about it feeling like Budokai Tenkaichi, but also being like modernized to the point that it's like, it's not like it used to be where you have to like break your controller to essentially beat certain people in combat. Like,
I do
I
think
don't
that they
want
should fix
that.
that. I don't
Yeah,
want them. I don't want to break the controller, bro. That I don't
Yeah,
want anymore.
I don't want
I
that
agree.
stuff. Like, the thing is like for the time it was fine because we had those like cheap PlayStation controllers.
Yeah, now
If
a
they broke,
PS5 controller is expensive.
bro, yeah, I cannot afford to have to buy a $200 controller because I'm playing Budokai
That
Tenkaichi
much?
4.
Is it really
Like,
$200?
No, it's
well,
like
I have
50
to buy a
bucks.
nice controller.
Oh, I see.
That's
Well,
just maybe that's a
Oh.
personal thing.
but it's still a
But
lot. It's still a lot of money.
yeah. But I also, I mean, that is a part of my wish list, but I really want to exaggerate that I want the roster to be huge. Like, I really want to make sure that I put that out there.
Well, it's gonna
I
be
want there
huge,
to
but the
be,
question is how
yeah,
huge.
yeah. I want there to be as many characters as humanly possible, because to me, that has always been the beauty in the Budokai Tenkaichi games, is that you could play as so many different people. Like, it's just like, I really want to exaggerate that because I feel that way strongly. I really hope that they have GT Super. I know it's a pipe dream, but if they had Heroes characters on there, I would freak out. You know what I mean? So like that's if I had to like really, like, if I was talking to somebody who worked at Bandai and I was like, oh, if I could make any request, that would be my request. I would want to have a huge roster. I'd want to be able to choose as like many different characters as humanly possible, so I can have fun setting up like what if scenarios myself and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's just,
That was the
and
charm of Tenkaichi, though. Like that, the sparking
yeah, it
games.
was.
And I do want to say, because he mentioned Ultimate Tenkaichi, big misconception here. Ultimate Tenkaichi, and this is not you. This is people watching this. They might not know this. Ultimate Tenkaichi is not part of the Tenkaichi series. In Japan, it was a totally different game. They just called it Ultimate Tenkaichi to take advantage of people who like Tenkaichi games, which are called sparking in Japan. So they lied to us just to get our money. So it's not a Tenkaichi game. That's why the controller's so different. I think you're right, though. I think we're going to get a big roster, but someone out there is going to end up being disappointed because they're not going to have, like, Dr. Rota might not be playable. Oh my God. But still, I don't know if he is or not. I couldn't answer that. But still, like, I feel like the gimmick of the Tenkaichi series is to have a big roster. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Like, I used to hate it when I was a kid, but now I understand it as an adult. Like, the Budokai games, the regular ones, Fighters, Xenoverse, all those games have like their own sort of differences between them. With Tenkaichi, with sparking, that series, the huge roster's part of the charm. So you might as well have 8 different versions of Majin Buu. God knows how many Gokus they're going to have. They're going to have
Oh Lord,
Omen Goku and UI Goku and silver-haired Goku, and yeah, who knows. But anyways, y'all, that's going to do it. Let us know down below your wish list, and I'll leave links to their stuff there as well. Take care.